Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make some amazing blueberry muffins with two different types of topping. One is going to have a sugary crunchy crust, and then the other one is going to be a streusel brown sugar topping. Both are delicious, so let's get started. To start off the muffins, I'm going to go ahead and mix up my dry ingredients. I've got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour in here. To that, I'm going to add 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Give these a quick whisk. So I have my bowl for my wet ingredients. To this, I'm going to add 1 stick or 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk, 2 whole eggs, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix all these together. Make sure you bust up the eggs. I've got 1 cup of blueberries here for my muffins. To this, I'm just gonna grab a little pinch of the flour that's in here. Don't want a lot, just a splash before you get started, just a little pinch. Now to my actual flour mixture, I'm gonna go ahead and add my wet ingredients. Make sure you grab the pockets at the very bottom of your bowl and on the sides to make sure you don't have any big pockets of flour. Now I've got that little bit of flour that I put in my blueberries. I'm just gonna toss them in that flour. And like I said before, you don't need a lot. You just want to coat the blueberries. This is gonna help the blueberries from sinking down to the bottom of your muffins. Now you just pour them on top. Gently fold in your blueberries. Now you can use frozen blueberries. I used fresh. If you use frozen, just keep in mind that sometimes frozen ones can bleed, and if you're not careful when you're folding it in, it can turn your muffins like kind of this grayish purple color. So don't worry if they come out like that. That is because of the frozen blueberries and the moisture that's on the outside of them. They've got some juice on the outside from being frozen. You can solve that by either using fresh blueberries, or you can rinse the frozen ones off before putting them in, or just very gently mix them in. I mean, if it's just for you and your family, who cares if they're a little gray? They taste amazing. I've got my pans laid out here and I'm ready to go ahead and start filling them with some muffin mix. This is about a 2-ounce scoop. This batter is thick enough where you want it to go to the top of your pan, of your muffin liner. Now my last muffin, I kind of scraped it around the bowl so it's more batter than blueberries. I've got some extra blueberries on the side just for this occasion, so I'm gonna pop a few into this one since it didn't get very many. Now this recipe made about 15. This recipe makes 15 muffins. Now, before we put these in the oven, which I've already preheated the oven to 375 degrees, before we pop them in though, I'm gonna make a little brown sugar streusel to go on top. Now for my streusel, I have a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and then I have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then also 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. And it is cold. We're just gonna mix all of this together. So when you're doing it, you just want to mash that butter in between your fingers and mash it into the sugar and the flour. All right, now we've reached a point where the butter is pretty much like incorporated with the flour and the brown sugar. And I'm just squeezing them real tight to make these kind of blocks. And the purpose of that is now I can crumble them and I have bigger pieces. So then that way I can get some bigger chunks of the streusel onto my muffins. Now it's time, I'm just gonna pop these on top. There's no rules. Now that all of my streusel is on my muffins, I'm just gonna go back and pop 1 or 2 blueberries right on top. Now this is a preference, you don't have to do this, but I just feel like it makes it look a little bit more colorful and pretty and cute. I like my baking to be pretty. I'm into it. Now I'm gonna bake these in the oven for about 25 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Now to top these off before I put them in the oven, I'm gonna sprinkle some sanding sugar on top. This is one of my favorite ways to top muffins. Give a generous sprinkle on all of them. Now I've got these all done and I'm gonna pop them in the oven and I'll see you when they come out. So all of my muffins are out of the oven. I've got both options here. The first one is the streusel topping, and then I have the sugary top option as the second one. Now my favorite is the sugary top. I love how crunchy and crispy that sugary top is. When you bite it, you get that crunch, so it's extra texture. And then also it adds a little bit of sweetness to the overall muffin. Not too much, but just enough. Now with the streusel topping, it's also good as well, of course. Who doesn't love a brown sugar streusel topping? It adds a little bit of extra texture and sweetness to the muffin, and it also adds a beautiful color to the top and gives a little bit more for the eye to take in and enjoy. I'm gonna go ahead and try a muffin. I'm gonna try the one with the sugar top because that's my favorite. They're right out of the oven hot. A berry almost hit my lip. I thought I was gonna die. It's really, really warm, but it's delicious. It's light, it's fluffy. The berries are right on point. You can see the steam. Well, I don't know if you can see the steam, but it's steam coming off of it still, which is amazing to have muffins hot, fresh out of the oven. Blueberry muffins always have like a really sentimental value to me. I love blueberry muffins. I will always love blueberry muffins. My mom used to make us blueberry muffins for the first day of school back when I was small and we were tiny little tater tots. And it was actually one of the first things I ever tried to bake. And so it began the love of baking because I always tried to make the blueberry muffins, the ones with the blueberries in the can. I don't know if anybody remembers. It was box mix and it comes with a can of blueberries and you pour them in. I had a lot of gray muffins from that can, but it's okay. We're here today and now I've got a beautiful recipe that I can finally and proudly share with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. And also go ahead and hit subscribe. I post every Friday for a new recipe.